Hello everyone and welcome back to Bay from Burma. It's Bay here and today I'm so happy to share another family recipe with you, pork leg soup. In Burmese we call it Wacharao soup yolk. This is a dish that my family has been making for generations and I'll show you how to make it in a pressure cooker so it's faster but still rich and full of flavor. For both the Chinese community and the Burmese people, this soup is an all-time favorite. It's comforting, flavorful, and perfect with rice or noodles. Alright, let's get started. Here are the ingredients for today's recipe. I'm using pork foreleg, but you can use any part of the pork leg, fore or hind, is completely up to you. The key is to follow the seasoning and water amounts exactly so you can get that authentic pork leg soup flavor we love back home. The same taste that the Chinese community in Burma has enjoyed for generations. For this recipe, I use cold water blanching because it helps keep the broth nice and clear. I simply place the pork pieces one by one into cold water in a pot before turning on the heat. After that, I turn on the stove and bring the water to a boil. Once it boils, I blanch the pork for about 5 minutes, gently stirring with tongs to ensure even cooking. And then after 5 minutes, I remove the pork pieces with a strainer and rinse each piece under running water. And that's how the pork looks after blanching and cleaning. It's nice and clean and ready for the next step in cooking. If you happen to see any stray hairs at this point, don't worry, just carefully pluck them out with some kitchen tweezers. Luckily mine was clean this time, so I didn't need to do that. This is my favorite part, the sear. To me, searing is like giving the pork a little glow up. It locks in the flavor and makes it look extra delicious. First, I heat 2 tablespoons of canola oil in a pan over medium heat. Then comes my little magic trick. I add 2 tablespoons of white sugar. I let the sugar melt slowly until it turns into a golden caramel. The smell at the time is amazing, warm and toasty. This caramel gives the pork a rich brown color without needing too much soy sauce. And it also adds a gentle sweetness that balances the broth later. When the sugar starts bubbling and turns that lovely golden color, it's time for the pork. I drop the pieces in one by one, nice and slow. Each one lands in the pan with a gentle sizzle, and I give them a quick stir so they are all coated in that glossy caramel. Watching the pork change from pale to a rich golden brown is so satisfying. And that's my cue to start adding the flavors. Now it's time to bring in the flavor. I drop in 2 to 3 chunks of smashed ginger and 10 whole garlic cloves. They hit the pan with a little sizzle and instantly fill the air with that warm and mouth-watering aroma. A quick stir to cook them in the caramel, and then I continue to pour in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, which is a comforting flavor booster and it simply adds the rich and the savory depth to the dish. And followed by half teaspoon of dark soy sauce for that beautiful rich color. I stir everything together so the pork pieces get covered in all those flavors. Then I keep cooking, stirring now and then until the liquid slowly disappears. The pork pieces become shiny and smell so good. That's when I know they are ready for the next step, which is the pressure cooking. Here I move the pork pieces into the pressure cooker and pouring about 1 liter of water. After pouring in the water, I give everything a gentle stir to make sure that the pot pieces fit nicely. Then I close the lid and set the pressure cooker. It needs about 20 minutes on high pressure, but timing can vary a bit depending on your cooker. After 20 minutes, I release the pressure from the pressure cooker and wow, the steam just burst out. When I open it, the pork looks so good. That rich brown color, all glossy and juicy. You can tell the meat is super tender, almost bursting with flavor. And I poke it with a chopstick just for a test, and it sliced right in like butter. After that, I move the pork over to a clean pot and add another liter of water. And then I toss in 2.5 teaspoons of salt to really bring out the flavors. I also add half teaspoon of MSG. It's optional, but I like it because it gives that authentic Burmese taste. If you don't use MSG, no worries, just skip it. Then I add a teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice powder. You may want to add less if you want a milder aroma. This step really brings out those warm and comforting flavors that make the soup so unique. After that, I stir everything well and let it simmer gently for 3 to 5 minutes so all the flavors can blend beautifully. Now here's a step I never skip every time I cook this soup, scooping out the extra fat with a fine mesh strainer. It looks like a very small step, but it makes a big difference. The soup stays light and healthier without losing any of its deep and satisfying flavor. Now look at this bowl. That's all the fat that we are removing. It might seem like a lot. And now the soup looks clean and clear, free of all that fat. It's such a noticeable difference compared to before scooping. And that's it. We got a tender and flavorful pork soup with a savory and slightly sweet broth packed with full of collagen. Now let's do the plating. I like to add some fresh spring onions on top. They match the soup perfectly with a little fresh crunch and color. This soup goes great with steamed rice or noodles. It's so comforting and really versatile. Honestly, it's like a warm hug in a bowl. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe as much as I do. See you next time. Bye bye everyone.